Today I'm lucky to be here with the three Blitz Bar Boys, the new health bar on Glenferrie Road, which has been absolutely buzzing. Thanks for being with us today, boys.
Pleasure having us.
Want to just introduce yourselves, tell us a bit about yourself?
Perfect. I'm Brandon.
Yeah, I'm Sam, 22 years old. Studied at King David, since graduated.
I'm Jordan Glick, I'm 22 years old, graduated from Liberty Abner College in 2018.
Very good. How long have you boys known each other or been friends?
Yeah, so growing up, me and Brandon were like gradually really good mates in King David, and then probably about year 9, year 10, we became best mates. Went to each other's house every day, like it was great. Met Jordan Ajax, year 9.
Ajax back in 2016, I believe, and then Brandon in 2015 through Maccabi Cricket.
Glick actually taught me how to kick a footy.
Yeah.
The great days.
Good old days.
Good. And tell us a bit about your pre-Blitz Bar journey. You said what schools you guys go to, but what else, other jobs?
So I was at King David all the way through, and then after finishing school, I worked for the first 6 months full time, and then went travelling for 6.5 months. I led on Habonim in South Africa, and then came back, started my degree at Monash, doing commerce and finance, was doing that full time throughout coronavirus. And then as this sort of came on our plate, I was still studying, but just studying a bit more part time, and been playing footy for the last 17 years, so
Unreal. As I said before, obviously studied King David, grew up with Brandon, graduating in 2018, went straight into commerce at Deakin, doing a double degree actually with Jordan, actually how our friendship kind of flourished. Since kind of thought of the idea in 2020 and was just been developing, but for the last year or so, probably before this, I was an accountant at Greenstone, felt a bit about my finance background.
Yeah, so I graduated in 2018, and then throughout school, constantly been working at the family bakery business, Glick's, and then post-school worked first half of the year at the family business, and then travelled throughout Europe for about 4 months, and then just been basically working in hospitality for the last 10 years. So I guess that kind of could have been the reason why we got into hospitality, but
Also, to add maybe just before this, I did run a few of my own businesses. Early on, I was reselling shoes, and then I moved on to selling masks during coronavirus, or eco-friendly.
Good time to do it. Good. Now, for the main point, I just want to know, can you tell us a bit about Blitz Bar, what it is, what you offer? I know everyone knows the açaí part, but tell us a bit more about what you offer.
Yeah, well, Blitz Bar, Melbourne's newest health bar, we offer, obviously we got the do-it-yourself açaí, which has been the big hit, which has been absolutely phenomenal. But we also do a lot of other things. We do smoothies, a bunch of pre-made options, a do-it-yourself aspect as well, from A to Z, kind of, choose your veg, milks, superfoods, powders, that sort of stuff. Also really, really, really good coffee, I'd like to think, and a couple lunch grab-and-go options.
Coffee's great. I've had
Thanks,
a fair bit myself.
Yeah.
And tell us, when did you open? How long's it all been the works? You mentioned past year, couple of years you've been thinking about it, and I know you've been in hospitality, but how did it all come together from your comments?
Yeah. Well, actually this Wednesday is 5 weeks, which is, it's pretty crazy to think. It's it feels like such a short amount of time, but a lot has happened within there. There's so many learning curves and processes that we've had to refine and kind of do better and learn from. It's been great. Thought of the idea actually with Jordan at start of 2020.
Yeah, just before COVID.
Just before COVID, which is an absolute crazy phenomenon to think about. 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago. So me and John basically just came together, thought let's think of an idea, and we kind of filtered through about 100 ideas, I'd say, and we had a lot of mentors that helped us, like Jordan's dad, who's been running Glick for a long time, my dad, who's an accountant, friends, family, a lot of good people, and filtering through those ideas, eventually we thought we were going to crack into something, and, eventually we thought of the do-it-yourself aspect and smoothies and açaís, and a bit later on, a couple months, Brandon hopped on board. Probably one of the better ideas we've had in the last 3 years, which is good. kind of gave it that light, that life to it, and 3 years later we're at.
Great. Because I just want to know what made you guys think that you could do it, compete with some of these other açaí places, yogurt places, especially in the area. What made you think that it was going to be successful?
I guess the whole just customizability. We feel like people like, being able to feel like almost like they're in the comfort of their own home. They can choose what they want inside, their smoothie or on top of their bowl. It's just like, it's fun, it's customizable, and it really gives them that aspect of, making it themselves.
Yeah, but why can we make it work?
Well,
do you want to explain?
I'll just add from Jordan. The big thing for us is what me and Glick actually thought about originally is we thought about what is the number one, chain/franchise in the world by volume. Everyone always says it's Macca's. It's actually Subway, and we got thinking like, why is Subway so successful? There's a lot of factors in terms of finance and wages and whatever not, but the big part about it is that it's customizable. You can have whatever you want. You can put chicken, and you're not going to get chicken if you want beef, or spinach if you want lettuce. You know what I mean? You're going to put what you want, and it's really hard to have a bad experience. So we thought, how can we put that in the food market, but where it hasn't been done? You've got Yochi, which obviously has been done. You got salad bars that have popped up, kind of, been diluted over the years. You got Subway, which is a sandwich bar. And, what's one of the most trendy products at the moment? Açaí.
Yeah.
Smoothies. People really care more than ever about what they're eating, what they're consuming, how they're going to be affected by the food that they're eating. So we thought, okay, if we can get something that's really trendy, something that's really healthy, and kind of mash it together with this Subway Yochi aspect, we'll have what we have today. And I think that's why it's been what it has, because it is a really good product. It's really healthy. But yeah, do you guys want to add on?
Yeah, I think probably just the other part to add that we thought it would work is that because it's not currently being done. So it's often hard in this day and age to think of new ideas. Maybe 100 years ago a lot of things hadn't been done before, but because this was something new, we thought it would work.
Yeah. What you guys have seen in articles, you're known as the first self-serve açaí in Melbourne. Was that your first idea? Did you build from there? Was it you're going to do self-serve açaí and you added more things as you went, or did that come in at a later stage?
Well, funnily enough, açaí wasn't the first idea. It was actually do-it-yourself smoothies. So we thought, okay, we're going to give Boost a bit of a run for their money. We know that, their ingredient list is interesting. So we thought, okay, if we put a natural product, we put a do-it-yourself aspect in it, we could really have something. Funnily enough, now opening the doors, smoothies is a minority sale, and açaí is where it's been moving. But basically about probably a year after we thought about the idea, we're like, let's add an açaí. If we can do it with smoothies, why can't we do it with açaí?
Yep.
And we just did our due diligence, a lot of research, a lot of time, and we came up with a formula. We figured out how to do it, the flow, the process, and then we have do-it-yourself açaí.
Brilliant.
First bar.
Brilliant. Just tell us how usual days go at Blitz Bar, what time you open, close, and a bit about that.
So day in the life. So wake up 5:50, have some cold water exposure, do a bit of exercise, and get here. We're here by 6:30. Usually just a couple of us, and then one will come a bit later, and then an hour opening up the shop, getting everything ready. That entails, getting all the toppings ready, getting the smoothie section ready, setting up all the furniture, making sure everything's clean, and then the doors open. So you hope a few customers come in, but you take it as it comes, and as the day goes on, it gets busier and busier, and then it gets to around lunchtime. We have a few more hands on deck, and the açaí machine's going, and hopefully it's good weather, but doesn't really matter either way. And I guess all day we're making sure all the toppings are topped up, making sure there's heaps of fresh fruit. That's something we pride ourselves on. All the fruit's cut daily, so that's a big part of the day, and just making sure the customer experience is as positive as possible.
I'd say personally for me, probably one of the bigger challenges we have in the day of the life as Blitz Bar owners is we've got a lot of staff. So we hired around 20 people. And a lot of these people are inexperienced. A lot of them actually haven't had jobs, or this is their first job, or maybe it's their second job. And even with their experience, it's been very minimal. So, we have a lot of trust in our employees. We have a great, culture at the moment, which is fantastic, but we have a lot of trust in them. Like, we basically had to teach everyone from scratch how to cut, how to clean, how to organize, how to be efficient, how to be effective in what they're doing. And that's probably been one of the bigger challenges in the day of the life of basically us, because we're running around frantically saying, okay, let's just make sure this is in order. You guys are doing great here. Maybe we need to improve there. But yeah, it's been a big thing with staff, and credit to them. They've been unbelievable. Over the last 5 weeks, it's just been remarkable how much they've learned and how much we've grown as a team, because at the end of the day, and this is what we were saying actually on our induction day to them, that like, we're only 22 years old, so we're also learning. Like, we entered this business not knowing a lot of things as well, so especially in the first couple of weeks, there was a lot of mistakes and there was a lot of issues that rised, and I think as a team we've overcome them pretty well. Especially with our employees. Like, our employees are ranging from about 15 to 21. Yeah. So we're the oldest in the business, but not by much. It's always at least a few years at maximum it's a few years difference, really. So yeah, it's kind of just learning to grow as, like, we're almost like a family, like, together, and it's really been a great experience.
Yeah, and just on that, I want to know how pretty new, you two in hospitality, you've had a bit more experience, but you and the new staff, how do you manage the crazy lines, the hectic culture, and also, like, when are your busiest times around here?
So the busiest times tend to be between about 10 and 2 o'clock, and I guess it's just about kind of just delegating tasks. Like, we have specific people on different things. There's, like, cutting fruit, people making sure that tables are clear, and wiping down the topping section, making sure that toppings are filled up. Someone specifically on smoothies, someone specifically on point of sale. So we've got, just a good system going, kind of delegating, and yeah.
I think it's also just important to keep a level head. Like,
Sure.
There can be a million things happening. It can be really fast paced, but if you just focus on that next thing, that one thing that's going to move you closer to success in that next 10 minutes, then, it makes it much easier, rather than creating this whole big list of, I need to do this, I need to do this. But if you focus on one thing and you're like, we need to do that to move forward to the next 5 minutes, then it helps deal especially when there's big lines and, maybe people are getting a bit disgruntled, like, oh, I've been in line for a while. But, if you just make sure the customer experience is as positive as possible, all tables are cleared, everything's clean, it makes everything better.
Yeah. No, it sounds amazing. Did you have with that any expectations initially before you opened, once you had opened? Have they been, I'm sure some been achieved, some maybe not, and probably many have been exceeded?
Oh, definitely. Great question, actually. So prior to us opening, I don't think anyone in their right mind, or any of us or any of our family members or friends, kind of realised, what we were bringing to the table. Like, I thought what we were doing was great, and we had a really exciting product, and hopefully the market was going to respond well. But I think in terms of what's actually happened has been tremendous and, like, very, very overwhelming. Just the support has been crazy. I mean, number one, by the Jewish community. In the first couple of days, it was basically just the Jewish community coming down, and it was really, really nice to see that, like, just seeing all these familiar faces and everyone coming in. And we offered discounts to 70% of the people, like, no, I don't want the discount, I want to support you guys. And and then just kind of as it built, we had a lot of the greater community coming, people I didn't know, from all the local schools, all the local mums and grandmothers, and I guess that's kind of how the lines started, forming and queuing. And but yeah, like, kind of building onto your last question about like how we kind of manage it, and especially like during all these lines, it's like, it's not something we anticipated, so we didn't build that how would you put it, we didn't kind of build that structure in place to, like, accommodate for that. So it's kind of been tackling that hurdle day by day. And as Brandon said as well, like, kind of just keeping a level-headed, kind of mindset, and just focusing on the task at hand.
Yeah. I just want to go back to your point. You said a lot of support from the Jewish community. Obviously, you all brought up and went to Jewish schools throughout your education. Tell us a bit about, like, how you stay involved in the community now. The community comes to you half the time to get some food or smoothies, but how have you stayed involved, or what's your involvement within the community?
Well, we actually, there's quite a lot of, well, actually, funnily, on Fridays, we actually get, there's some local boys that come down. We put on to fill in every Friday, so make sure that us and all the employees put on to fill in. We also,
What else? There's more to it, right?
yeah, it's just, I guess it's just like a big family. Like, the support's just been unbelievable. Like, community just support one another. Like, and yeah, I just feel like, it's just been overwhelming, really. Yeah.
Probably for me, number one, like, all my good mates are Jewish, basically, and that's not like coincidentally. It's just kind of the way it's happened. Just growing up in a Jewish school, playing Ajax once upon a time. Going to local school and kind of just branching off that community. That's probably how I mainly stayed involved. But yeah, just through a lot of mutual friends, parties, the jackets and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I guess from the start, like now, obviously, we hope we get to get a bit more of the local community and stuff. But to begin with, like, it was just our friends, which happened to be Jewish. So that was a big part. And I guess for me, a big way I stay connected through my football, through the Ajax Football Club. So yeah, obviously it's great. Like, a lot of the Ajax boys come down on the weekends. Even we've had this whole area made into one big table, and yeah, to see all the Ajax Jewish tops in the shop, it's great. And even in the back room, Jordan's father put up a mezuzah. Which is great. So yeah, there's lots of Jewish elements, and it's definitely a Jewish-run business.
And it's also that basically all the staff besides Jew are Jewish as well. So it's really like and we've tried to use where we can a lot of Jewish people along the way. Like, we used Ash Karp as the designer. We really just try to support small Jewish businesses similar to us along the way.
And I just wanted...
Just to quickly build on Jordan's point about... Sorry, I do apologise.
No, you're right. Go on.
About there only being 2 non-Jews. Wasn't done on purpose.
Yeah,
it was kind of just the way it fell into our lap, because when we basically opened up, to the community, like, hey, we're looking for jobs. I'm not sure if you guys know, but there's been a bit of a shortfall in, like, hospitality workers due to the economic crisis and, like, post-COVID, and obviously with uni coming back up, so there was a bit of a shortfall in terms of hospitality workers just Australia-wide. So we posted to, like, our local group chats to Ajax and that sort of stuff, and trying to see if anyone was interested. And through all of the mutual hearings, that's where we got a lot of our Jewish employees, which was unbelievable, and they've been great. And then that was also posted out to non-Jews, and we've got a couple of people from Lauriston and what are the other schools?
Auburn High, MLC.
Yeah, correct. So there's quite a few out there, which is really nice. Just a good bunch of people, a bit of diversity, and it's been really amazing.
Yeah, amazing. And I just want to finish off just a bit of a message from either all of you, one of you, just any message you want to, or lesson you want to get across with such young staff, and also you guys being pretty young to build up such an amazing business.
I reckon my main message would just be that, obviously we're taught to go to school, go to uni, and it's a very structured, secure path. But I think if you really knuckle down and you put in the hard work and you persevere and you don't give up, you can really just achieve anything, and age is just a number.
Probably from my perspective, being only 22 and, technically speaking, pretty inexperienced, in terms of life. If anyone's thinking about starting a business, or, thinking of making a step that they're kind of unsure about, it's just put yourself in the deep end, because if you put yourself in the deep end, you're forced to learn, and you'll make errors, you'll make mistakes, and you'll kind of persevere from that and, jump your goals. Like, it's kind of like us, once we sign the lease, that's what I call, for us, in our perspective, that was the deep end, because there was no turning back. We signed a 4-year lease, and once you're in that bubble, like, no matter what mistakes happen or what, areas are going to occur, you'll find a way to kind of fix them, because, I can't turn around and be like, sorry, I don't want this lease anymore. So whether it's starting an online business, whether it's starting a cafe, an accounting firm, whatever, just put yourself out there, step into the deep end and you'll find a way to figure it out. You know.
For me, I think it's a simple saying is like to learn being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. I think that me and Sam say it a lot. It's one thing to, kind of think of a business idea, but to actually put it into action is another thing. So I think, if you do think of an idea, don't be afraid to, go for it and really put your ideas into action.
Perfect. Well, just want to thank you boys for joining us today. It's been a great insight, and I hope everyone gets down to the new health bar on Glenferrie Road, and just make sure to check out the socialblueprint.org.au for the full video. Thank you.